You're going to love this because this spreadsheet is very powerful. Not only have I given you an example, but I've put 67, I think it is, different examples in there, which I've just kind of rounded to certain values and so on to demonstrate. But what you'll do, once I show you how to use it, you'll be able to use this in your business for your services. So I'll show you how to use it, what to tweak, what the different columns mean, and then how you can add your own at the end as well. So the first thing is to go to this cell here. So the two red cells, those are the ones that you shouldn't delete, but those are the ones that that affects the whole rest of the spreadsheet. So the first one is hourly rate. In there I've put an example of 65, and so you can see that if I change that rate, if you look at, say, the total cost column, it adjusts everything based on that rate. So let's stick with that example of £65. The scaling is just if you want a quick answer to the question, how would it affect me if I drop my prices 10%? So if I put in 0.9, that's 10% less. What about if I charge 10% more? So 1.1. So immediately you get a picture of how that scaling would affect the prices. So that if you do go, and also when you look, so I'll put 1.1, it tells you what that rate would be. So 71.50 from 65. So just a couple of things to get started there. So across the top is all categories. So you've got, I've categorized my work. So I have inspection related, fuse board, pat testing, faults, and then there's loads of replacements and installation examples. This is mostly domestic. I don't think I've put any, no, I haven't put any commercial on there, but I'm keeping it simple. Now obviously if you do commercial, it's easy to add it. I have got commercial fault finding and industrial fault finding on there. So the things you need to consider are those things we've already covered in the previous section. So if you haven't looked at these things, go back. So travel time, because you should have worked out what your average travel time is, this will be included here. So what that is just one way. So if you're doing 2 or 3 jobs in a day, I personally prefer to charge just one way. So the average of one journey, because the next journey, when I go from that one to the next one, is someone else's job. So I just do one way. If you tend to do just one job a day and you do bigger jobs that take all day, then you might do the return journey in this travel time. So this fraction here, this 0.2, that is of 1 hour. So you'd have to work it out. So if you're 20 minutes, 20 over 60 is 0.33, that sort of thing. Same with the admin time. It's as a percentage of an hour. So it's a fraction of an hour. Job time is the same. Now, so the ones you adjust your travel time, put that in, whatever yours is. I mean, if you live in a small town, it might be less. So you can see that the price actually goes down because you're doing less traveling. So it's 183 there, put it back to 182, it's 191 total cost. The admin time, now this is the things like the certificate completion or that sort of thing. So you've got certificate completion, you've got certificates for pat testing, then for inspections, and for industrial I've put a bit of admin time because often you go on site, you have to mess about signing in, you sometimes have to do an induction, those sort of things. So, whether you put that in or not is up to you. Job time, so that's because you've already worked this out, hopefully, how long on average does each of these jobs take? Now I've split them down here. I've done inspections for 1 to 2 bed, 3 bed, 4 bed, 5 bed. You might just have a general one overall and average it out for domestic inspections. You might then have a one for commercial inspections, but it might be per circuit, for example. So you might multiply out that average time for, say if it takes 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and multiply that out per circuit, but with the admin time included as well, remember. So once you've added them times, it then gives you a total cost. So this one is a formula, so don't actually amend this one. Time cost is worked out automatically. So after that, you've got parts cost. So an inspection, you haven't got any parts. If you do have any parts for any reason, like you're buying pads and you want to put that in, or you want to factor in the average cost of your software over a year, then you can put that in. For a fuse board, there's obviously cost to that. And then my fault finding, I do fixed price and I include up to £10 of parts, so that's in the price. And then I'm going down here, replacement light switches, chrome light switches, and so on. So I'm putting the price of those parts in for one of them. So that will give a cost here. That's everything calculated. So it's basically the time cost, which is all these things here, plus the parts is that overall cost. I'm then adding VAT for those that are VAT registered. So if you're VAT registered, use this total cost here. If you're not VAT registered, use this column I, the standard cost before VAT. Where I've done pat testing items, you can also see what it would equate to as a per item cost. So if, for example, I insert another row here, and then here's how to add another service, by the way. I'll copy all of this, Control V, Control C and Control V to paste. Now I'm going to change that one to 50 items. And let's say 50 items is going to be somewhere in between that. So for the sake of doing this without taking forever, I'll put 0.75. So it's told me what a rate is there. Obviously you're going to be thinking about this in more detail and you'll have accurate figures. So that's how you delete a row. You can also overwrite these with whatever service you want to put in place. And if it's a pat testing one, copy this bit. If not, then just delete that cell. So what I've done next is, it was more of a sanity check this, so this is for second items. So remember, for a second item, you're already on site. You're no longer going to charge the admin time is already taken care of if there is any. The travel time is already taken care of, and so the second item is going to be cheaper. So this is telling you what it should be. So the time is going to be the same. You'll see all these times are the same. I've allowed flexibility just in case there's something where a second one would take longer. I can't think what there might be, but the flexibility is there. So it's then telling you the second price. So notice that the second price is lower than what the first one is because it's got the price and the time, but there's no travel time. So it's lower, that 21 is lower than that 35. And then you've got the VAT on top. So the first one of replacing a light switch would be 44, but then the second one will be 24. So hopefully that makes sense. Now you might do this with and without parts as well. So you might insert another row that's got no parts provided. As here I've got one with PVC, one with chrome, a dimmer, a dimmer that's chrome, and so on. You get the idea. So the best way to get the part as well is, all I did is I went to my supplier, I sent them an email, can you quote this job? I gave them a false reference, and I just asked for all of these different things on here as if I was doing a big job with all of this on, and they came back with that. And I've rounded them up here in this example, but in my genuine one that I use for myself, I've got the price in pounds and pence properly. So I hope this is really useful, and I hope you are okay using it. If there's any questions, just let me know. If anything's not clear, just pop it in the comments below, or go on the Facebook group, or get me on Messenger.